Hello, my name is Brian Booth, and I'm here to tell you about Gasparilla's treasure. Gasparilla ruled an empire stretching from Mexico to Florida, Louisiana, all through the Gulf of Mexico. While he reigned in that empire, he looted and pillaged and controlled. He was a rock and rollin' pirate. He was a low-life son of a gun. Well, we have a couple festivals for him. People still remember him in Tampa and Mexico. And some people say he never happened. Some people say he's just a legend. Some people say he's just a myth. But he's not just anything. He was Jose Gasparilla. And luckily enough, I found out where his treasure was buried, or at least one of his treasures. I mean, pirates buried treasure everywhere to hide it, to put it somewhere. In this case, it was buried outside of Tampa Bay. When pirates went into a bay, when they went into civilization, if they didn't want to get killed, they didn't tell people they were pirates. They lied. I know pirates lie sometimes. They said they were innocent merchantmen. Uh, but if you see some guy that makes 10 cents a year walking around with a brand new gold hilted dagger, or some sailor pulling out a bag full of gold, you're going to say, wait a minute, this guy, like, look over here. He's a pirate. He's a pirate. Okay. You're going to tell someone that this guy's a pirate, then they're going to come. They're going to chop off your fingers till you tell them, yes, I'm a pirate and I stole this gold from this guy. Then they're going to catch all the other pirates on your ship and they're going to hang all of you. They're going to kill you. So if you're a pirate, you lie. So before you go into civilization, you take all your booty. You take the bracelets and the guns and the clothing, whatever you can, and you hide it somewhere. If you have balls, you hide it on your ship and hope that the customs can't find it. If you think you don't want to take that chance, and before you get there, you find some deserted area and you bury it. You go in there, you party, you have a good time, you buy your rope, you buy your food, you buy your flour, you buy everything that you need, all your chandler supplies, and then, poof, you sail away. Back to fishing, or taking cargo to Cuba, or whatever it is you lied, tell them you were doing. And then after you leave, you stop by the island, you pick up all your booty, okay, you load it back up, and you go out and you keep on pirating, okay, and that's what you do. So this is a treasure that was buried outside of Tampa Bay. And there's several ways I learned of it. Uh, First of all, you have the Gasparilla Festival in Tampa Bay. So I heard about the name of Jose Gasparilla. And to go further, I was a member of New Jerusalem Church, Nueva Iglesia, or Iglesia Nueva Jerusalem. Okay, it was a Spanish church. I never learned how to speak Spanish, but man, the Lord was rocking. But we'd go out on missionary work. And I did missionary work to this one older gentleman that lived not too far from the church. And I'd come by every week and talk to him and say hi and everything. And he finally confided in me. He said, "You know what? You're a good man. You're a good man. I mean, I don't put up with this God stuff. I mean, we're all gonna go where we're all gonna go. There's not gonna be any difference. I don't really think it matters to God what I believe." Okay, and that's what he believed, and sounds good to me. So I would just talk to the guy and hang out with him. So that day he told me, I really appreciate it. So let me show you something. So he pulled out this map. Okay, an actual treasure map. Okay, now here's the story behind the map. After World War II, several officers moved to Florida. They lived in Florida, they moved down to Florida, however it worked, and they formed the Florida Archaeological Association. They started going on expeditions, searching things, looking through old records, recreating ports and stuff like that. They made this beautiful map of the Indian Wars and some of the stuff they found. But this one map, okay, was a preliminary map. It was just they put it on this map just to let you know, but they were working on it, and they found some gold coins off of Tampa Bay. Okay, not in Tampa Bay. This was outside of Tampa Bay, and they said, "Wow, this is pretty cool. We found Gasparilla's treasure." So what we have to do is we have to have an expedition. Okay, so next summer we're going to have a big expedition. We're going to go dig it. We're going to go find the treasure. We're all going to be rich. Okay, uh, the Korean War happened. The Korean War, what happened there is it happened a few years after World War II. We had released all the soldiers, all the soldiers that fought in World War II. We said, okay, bye bye, go back to work. And we had all these new kids that never fought in the battle and everything. We said, okay, you're our new army. Okay, you're just young kids, you don't know crap. Come on. These guys these guys over here fought in a war. They deserve to go home. So they all go home. You guys come in. So the Korean War came along, and you had all these soldiers that never heard a bullet fired. They never shot a gun in anger. They never ducked from an artillery round. They knew nothing about it. And it wasn't just the enlisted men, it was also the lieutenants and the captains. Okay, these guys were like going to school at the end of World War II. Then they became lieutenants and first lieutenants and commanders, whatever. It happened in all the services. So as soon as the Korean War started, the Pentagon had a problem. They said, we need experienced officers. And we don't have any experienced officers. But we have the Army Reserve. A lot of people don't realize that when you leave the military, you're in the reserve automatically. They can recall you when they want to. Sometimes it just lasts for 5 years or 7 years. Okay, in some job classifications, they can call you back forever. Okay? So once you're in the military, you're kind of always in the military. So these guys had gone back to work, had their families. They were working in industry. They were working in construction. They were starting their transport companies. They were starting their dentist, practices, their medical practices, whatever it was. And suddenly, the Korean War started, and 2 days later, they got telegrams and phone calls saying, you have to report to Korea in 22 days. In 20 days, in 5 days, you have to report to this camp, and we're shipping you to Korea. And these people had no choice. It was like they were drafted a second time. So the way this relates to the Florida Archaeological Association is these were all former officers, and they were combat officers, and they were good. And they were drafted back to Korea, and they all died. Or most of them died. Only a few survived. The association never became reconstituted. The few surviving members just didn't have the heart. The colonel who started it was dead, and the guy they called the major, I don't know if this was their actual titles during the war or after, or this was just the recollections of the man I was talking to. So he gave me the map, and he explained to me, where they found it. He showed me on the map where they found it, and he explained to me on that location where they found it in that location, so I know which beach and which side of the beach and where it's coming down from. So, okay, I understood. Okay, you found the gold coins here. Well, that's pretty cool, man. What do you feel about Jesus? You want to come to church next week? And we kept going back and forth like that, and I kept the map. 10 years went by. Okay, I went back to school. I started going to the University of South Florida. And I was enrolled in environmental science, geography, car studies, all kinds of neat stuff. And finally in 2015, I graduated. I have a PhD in geography and environmental science and policy, specializing in karst studies. Okay, karst is limestone. It's a sedimentary product, so I'm very knowledgeable. I did numerical modeling of different types of fluvial erosional processes and fluvial weathering processes. So, I kind of know my stuff about that. So I go to presentations. Okay, about fluvial processes, about sedimentary movement, okay, about lithification, all kinds of stuff like that. That's what professional karst speleogenetists do, okay? So I'm doing this thing, I'm going to all these meetings and stuff, and then bam, this young lady is doing a presentation, her doctorate presentation, on the beach. The beach where the gold coins were found. Oh my gosh, and this beach has a regular cycle. It goes round and round and round. Okay? I'm not going to tell you the cycle. That might tell you the beach. But let's call it a 20-year cycle. So in other words, the beach comes out, the waves and the currents and everything spread the beach out, spread the sand out, and then the currents change after 10, 15 years and push the sand back in and they pack the beach. And it's a new ridge of beach at that point. You have a new ridge. And then over the next 10, 15 years, sand gets washed down, the water gets shallower and shallower, then the currents change, and then boom, 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 it gets packed in. So every 20 years, there's a packing movement, and the end of the beach gets stripped off and gets pulled down, and then packed back in. This is a regular cyclical movement. Okay? Now, guess what? The gold coins were found on the edge of the beach cycle. So therefore it's being stripped off of one side and being pulled along. So the gold coins are actually in a thin arc around 100 yards long and maybe, I don't know, 10 to 30 yards wide. Okay? Uh, luckily, no one knows where to look. Okay? But I do. Now, what I need is I need a salvage lawyer to deal with the state of Florida because I think they claim 50%. Okay? These are from prehistory of the United States. There is no recorded instance of Gasparilla as pirates, so all the treasure found is ours, except for what we have to give to the state of Florida. Uh, this was not a major cache from a sunken, you know, galleon or anything like that. So there's no guarantee it's worth millions and millions of dollars, but it is of antiquity value. I mean, it does prove Gasparilla existed, okay, which would be a cool thing. Now, so I have to get a salvage lawyer. Then I got to get permits from the state of Florida to do limited dredging. So limited dredging requires a barge where you pull the sand up, you put it in the barge, you look around, then you put the sand back. You pull the sand up, you put it in the barge, you look around, you put the sand back. Okay, we can't disturb this environment. It's a Florida environmentally sensitive environment. All the beach environments are. Okay, it's kind of a crime what we do to them now. So I don't want to mess with that at all. So that's going to cost money. And the environmental permitting is going to cost money. Okay? And my travel to and from is going to cost money. And meeting with people is going to cost money. So what I'm doing is I'm treating this like an old-time prize court. Okay? I'm selling shares in the prize. All right? I'm calling it $1 million prize. If it's worth $10 million, then everyone gets 10 times more than they invested. If it's only worth zero, if we lose it, then it's worth nothing. If we can't find it, it's worth nothing. If it's worth a modicum amount for a treasure of that type, then we should get our money back. Okay? But you also get to be part of history. You become part of the search. Another thing I need to spend money on is the videographers. Okay? We can sell this to National Geographic. We can sell this to the History Channel. This is an important archaeological expedition. We have scientific fact. We have scientific modeling. We have GIS. We have all kinds of technological geosensing that has to be done. That's another thing we have to do is pay for the geosensors. So we have to sit down and make a plan. Once I have everything. Right now, this has just been in the back of my head, and I know that I don't have the resources to do it. You give me $1 million, and it'll get done. Okay? If you want to, I'll even use part of that $1 million to hire someone you think can get it done. Okay? I don't have much project uh, completion experience. I mean, I get stuff done, but nothing on this scale. I've never spent $1 million before. So if you know someone that can get it done, who's like a super treasure hunter that's insane, that loves this stuff, okay, then hook him up with me, and he can be the guy on TV and stuff doing all this stuff. Okay? I just want to find Gasparilla's treasure. Okay? I'm an ivory tower scientist. I'm not going to go out there and dig for this stuff. Okay? I'll make beach erosion models and show you where it is. Okay? But that's the story. And I hope you like it. And God bless you. And if you want a piece of it, I'm selling, I guess it's 1,000. I don't know. I'll put it up on GoFundMe, but it's going to be something like like 250 ship shares, and you can split the ship shares up into as many shares as you want to. So like if you wanted to give everyone at your business a share of Gasparilla's treasure, you can give them a 250 one fourth or a 1/250th of your 1/4 that you purchased for your $250,000. Okay, so I mean, however that works out, I'm pretty sure it's going to be 250 ship shares. Okay, so we have 250 major shares. Each share is worth 250, goes into a million. I don't know, a million times. I'll have to do the math work, but the idea is to find Gasparilla's treasure. Okay, let's go for it. Peace.